First off, thanks for being here. I know that I have some stiff competition in the fireside chat between Eric and Sergey, but I'm sure this will be much more interesting. I'm Karl Bolsterwall. I'm the CEO of Nibiru Software, which is the game developer behind Planet IX, which is one of the leading blockchain games. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about math and statistics, but maybe some more fun side of it, namely how we integrate randomness in our game to augment the gaming experience. But before that, I wanted to just quickly go through our game, and instead of showing it in a few slides, we have brought a video that we can play now.
The year is 450 after Earth. Agents of change have unknowingly returned to their former home. They call it Planet IX, a world destroyed, full of ancient ruins and wastelands. Their mission is simple: restore, rebuild, and resurrect. Planet IX is an NFT-based strategy game, offering a fun and challenging path to earn rewards in the game's own currency, IX token. The game went on-chain in November 2021 and has since experienced strong growth. The game consists of 4 hubs, all integrated to create a dynamic user experience catering to a broad audience. Trade and build. Planet IX is a digital rendition of Earth, divided into 1.7 billion hexagons called pics, each one a tradable NFT. Collect pics with the aim to form territories by connecting a number of adjacent pics on the map, as territories unlocks IXT rewards. Pics can be acquired directly on Planet IX's own marketplace or in special packs. In Marketplace, you may also trade other in-game assets to be used strategically in the part of the game called mission control. Farm and play to earn. In mission control, you can monetize your assets when placing pics on land tiles. The tiles will start producing waste, which can be collected either manually or through time-saving technology like drones and rovers. In Planet IX, waste serves as a valuable resource that can be converted to consumable assets, which are needed to build facilities. Facilities produce energy, the ultimate asset in mission control, as energy can be spent on exclusive packs or staked for IXT rewards. This is Planet IX's free-to-play and play-to-earn mechanic. Staking and DeFi. As you start building territories or producing energy, you can head over to IX Foundation, Planet IX's GameFi platform. Here you may lock up your collected assets to earn IXT. To find out more about Planet IX and start playing, head over to planetix.com.
Nice. So, over to today's topic. And I'm going to start a little bit with the early days of Web3 gaming, and when Web3 gaming became a concept, at least in the crypto community. The broader world probably doesn't know of it as much yet. But when it started, there was a lot of very simple game mechanics. So to take a very simple example, you as a player, you bought an asset, you used that asset in some shape or form, and when doing so, you got a reward. And then you use that reward to buy a new asset and to get a flywheel effect. This is a very simple mechanic, but it means that we have very, very simple game mechanics, we have expected outcomes, and we have a linear result, which means that input and output are linear. So the more you put in, the more you get out. And obviously, there's a number of things that can be improved in this game loop to make the gaming experience more fun. But given that we're here in Barcelona and on invitation from Chainlink, I thought I would spend the time to talk about how randomness can augment the gaming experience. So we take another example where we actually have implemented randomness. So we have the same asset, which is at the beginning valued the same for everyone. This asset can then be burned, and you can get one of two assets with different probabilities. And you can burn them again, and you can get 4 different types of assets with different probabilities. So one asset that was initially worth the same to everyone now has 4 different values with different probabilities of getting it. And of course, that means that they have different rarity. So you would probably want the C1 here. So introducing randomness in games, it creates a non-linear relationship. So the relationship between how much you put in and how much you get out is not the same. The little player can also win. So it's not only for big players. And lastly, it creates a lot of engagement and excitement in the game because you cannot always calculate where you're heading. So how are we then at Planet X using randomness in our gameplay? Well, when we sat down in the beginning to design the gameplay, the tokenomics, the game loops, and especially looking at other games out there, we wanted to take a different route. So we wanted to create a game which is as dynamic as possible, which has as many type of nuances and angles for players to play the game. And one of those is naturally randomness. So when we launched our free-to-play and play-to-earn feature, which was called Mission Control, we also made sure to incorporate randomness in that game loop. So in Mission Control, the most basic asset is waste. It might be a strange name or a strange type of asset to have in the game as the most fundamental asset. But it's because our vision from early on was really to create to build a massive Web3 game which could also have a positive impact on the planet. So therefore you're picking up waste in the game. So so basically players, they pick up waste, and then the waste could be converted into either Astro credits, which is an in-game currency, or to different types of consumables. So here you can see the different types of things that waste are used for. So if we look at Astro credits, for example, this is not random. This is a fixed conversion, but however, if you look on the consumables, those are random. So you don't know which one you will get. And this goes back to the dynamic of the game, that every asset in the game has a multitude of use cases. So you can use it for many different things. Then the next step in Mission Control is to build facilities. And facilities are built by a combination of Astro credits and consumables. And what's really cool here is that the rarity of these facilities, so the yellow one is the most rare, the rarity of them, you can actually play around with the possibility to get it by calibrating which of the consumables you use. So if you add an extra consumable of some sort, that will affect the percentage chance of getting the facility you want. And so that's how it all started. But then we kind of took it to the extreme. So earlier this year, we launched our cargo drop, which was an NFT that you could burn. When you burned it, you got 3 different types of asset. Each of those assets you could also burn. And then you got more assets, and you got more assets, and you got more assets. and then you got more assets. So each of these are burned and with probability. So between these, we probably have more than, I would say, 1 million combination that you could have gotten from the cargo drop, and all done with randomness and VRF. So during when we launched this, my CFO came up to me and said like, why are we chewing through links like M&Ms? And it was true. I think this day we basically broke Polygon when we launched it. So we have really taken the approach of incorporating randomness in the gameplay as much as possible. But then, of course, if it's not done correctly, then that creates some pretty big challenges. And by not done correctly, I mean if randomness is held off-chain. So games that have random features, but that are held off-chain, it's problematic because there are typically very, very big values involved in blockchain games, and the values are stored on the chain. So it's important that also the random feature is stored on chain. Otherwise, it can be manipulated, and it creates an incentive for unfair behavior. And the worst part about that is that it's very detrimental to the gameplay, because no one wants to play a game where they feel that the odds are already fixed. So this is one of the biggest challenges with having random features in Web3 games, unless you put it on chain naturally. So having randomness or VRF on chain, it means basically that everything is cryptographically proved, it's fully transparent and audible, and it also creates a very fun gameplay, because you feel comfort in the fact that your odds are actually your true odds and not being manipulated by a third party or even worse, the developer themselves. But for us, this was just the beginning. We are now working with new ways of integrating VRF in the gameplay. We just launched our territory lottery, which essentially is a lottery where you bet on which of your territories geographically, like dispersed across our digital world, globe, would win the lottery. And we launched it, I think, a month ago. We already seen a couple of 100,000 of our tokens flowing through those contracts. So there's a tremendous amount of value being used and being played, and people really like it, which also means that not having this on chain, it would be terrible. We need to be able to prove that the lottery is actually fair for everyone. And then what we're working on now is adding randomness from between player to player. So to date, we have only had randomness between game and player, where you either generated a new asset, or you burned an asset, or you play the lottery. But next step is to also include it when players are playing each other. So we're going to launch like battle, like competitive gaming, and different types of smaller games that players can play between themselves. And adding randomness in that type of gameplay is really the next step for us. And I think that was almost the last slide. And maybe just to sum it up here. So we've been working now with Chainlink for, I would say, almost 2 years. And we are been super thankful and excited about the collaboration, both from a technical perspective, but also from a commercial perspective. The team has been amazing, and we are very, very excited to continue pushing the envelope in what Web3 gaming can be, together with Chainlink and other. Cool. Thank you very much.